Welcome to 365 Maths. In this video, I'll be talking about the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. What we have here is a right-angled triangle. Let's say this is where the right angle is, and this is the given angle. The side opposite the right angle is known as the hypotenuse, as what we discussed in my previous video. And then the side opposite the given angle, which is this side, is known as the opposite. So it's labeled as O, meaning opposite. And then the other side, that is known as the adjacent. So H is for hypotenuse, A is for adjacent, and O is for opposite. So the three trigonometric functions show how two of the sides and one of the angles are related. So if you know two of the sides, you can work out a missing angle, or similarly, if you know an angle and a side, you can work out the length of another angle. So the three functions that I'm going to discuss here are the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. So the sine, which is known as sine, we're going to say sine x is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And then we have the cosine, which is known as cos x, is known as adjacent over hypotenuse. And lastly, tangent, which is known as tan x, this is known as the opposite over adjacent. So there is a shortcut, or there is a name that I can give you so that you do not forget these functions. And that is what we're going to call SOHCAHTOA. This is the short SOHCAHTOA, meaning this that is sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. This that is cos x is going to be adjacent over hypotenuse. And lastly, the TOA, that is tan x, is equal to opposite over adjacent. And we are going to make use of these three functions to find the length of a side, which will be labeled by a letter. And one thing that you should always remember when you're calculating this on your calculator is to make sure that your calculator is in degrees. Always set your calculator in degrees. Number one, we have a right-angled triangle with the angle 61 degrees and a side of 4 centimeters. And the first thing to do is to always label this side so that you know which function you are going to use. So in this example, we have the angle 61, and the side opposite the angle, remember, is known as the opposite. And the side opposite the right angle is known as the hypotenuse, and the remaining side is known as the adjacent. So what we do is to look at the information that we have. We have the hypotenuse, and we want to find the opposite. So we've got the hypotenuse and the opposite. Now we need to decide which function we are going to make use of. And in this case, we are going to make use of the sine because we have got the opposite and the hypotenuse. Remember the abbreviation that I gave you? SOHCAHTOA. And maybe let me just highlight, this is for tan, this is for cos, and this is for sine. So we have got the opposite and the hypotenuse. That would be sine x is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. That is sine, the x is 61 degrees. So that is sine 61 is equal to our O, which is B, over our H, which is 4 centimeters. To find D, we are going to multiply both sides by 4. And if we multiply the right-hand side, we'll only remain with B. Hence, we are going to have B is equal to 4 sine 61. And when you punch this on your calculators, always make sure that you have this number first and then you have sine. Because if you say sine 61 times 4, this will give you a wrong answer because your calculator will first calculate 61 times 4 and then it will say sine the product, which would be wrong. So always make sure that you start with the number. In this case, you start with 4. So it's as though it's 4 times sine 61. So if we then calculate this, we'll get our answer correct to 3 significant figures. That would be 3.50 centimeters. That is the value of B, which is this side right there. And if we look at example number 2, we are given M and we have the angle 31.4. So this side with 31.4 is known as the opposite, and then this side that is the hypotenuse, and what we have here is the adjacent. So what we want to work with is the adjacent and the hypotenuse. Now we need to find out which function we're going to use that has got the A and the H, which is the adjacent and the hypotenuse. And in this case, we are going to make use of CAH. This CAH, that would be cos. So we are going to say cos x is given by adjacent over hypotenuse. Hence we will have cos, our x in this case is 31.4 degrees, is equal to, our A is M, that is what we want to find, and then our H were given as 20 centimeters. So we will have M is equal to, remember always start with the number, that is 20 cos 31.4, and if you punch this, we get the value of M correct to 3 significant figures as 17.1 centimeters. That is the value of M. And then example number 3, we have our angle as 69.3, hence this side opposite the angle, that is our opposite, and this is our hypotenuse, giving us this as our adjacent. So what we want to work with is the opposite and the adjacent, because that is the two that we are given, and we need to look for the function to use that has got O and A. And if we look at our abbreviations, we have got O and A right next to T, meaning we're going to use the tan function. Hence we are going to say tan x is equal to opposite over adjacent, and we have got tan x, our x is 69.3, which gives us our opposite, which is E, over A, which is 5. Hence for us to find E, we say 5 multiplied by tan 69.3, and we get our value of E correct to 3 significant figures as 13.2 centimeters. And moving on to example number 4 and 5, it says each triangle has a right angle at the middle letter. So what we're going to do is to sketch our right triangle. So for number 4, we are given in triangle ABC, C is the angle. So this denotes that it's an angle. So the angle C is 40 degrees, BC is 4 centimeters, and we want to find AB. So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly sketch the right angled triangle. Remember, we're given that each triangle has a right angle at the middle letter. So in the triangle ABC, that means at B, that is where we are having the right angle, and we're told that the angle C, as we're given, is 40. So if I'm going to have my triangle sketched like this, and I have A, I have B, and I have C. The reason why I have B here is because that's the middle letter. So this is where I have my right angle. And then the angle C is 40. It means where we have C, this is the angle that we are talking about, which is 40 degrees. And we're told that BC, which is this length from B to C, is 4 centimeters. And this is the information that we are going to make use of. So this side ABU, the one that we want to find, that is the opposite. This is the hypotenuse, and this is the adjacent. So if we look at this, we want to find AB, which is the opposite. So we have opposite and we have got the adjacent, meaning we're going to use the function tan. So we're going to say tan x is equal to opposite over adjacent, and we have tan the x, that is tan C, which is 40 degrees, is equal to our opposite, that is AB, that is what we want to find, over our A, which is 4. So to find AB, we are going to say 4 multiplied by tan 40. And to find our answer to 3 significant figures, the value would be 3.36 centimeters. That is the value of AB. B. And then if we move on to example number 5, for given in a triangle MNO, M is the angle 42.6, MO were given that. So I'm going to sketch the triangle, and here is the triangle. And remember the middle letter, that's where we have the right angle, and we have N. This is M, N, and then we have O. And I'm going to label the given angle M is this one right here, which is 42.6 degrees. And then we have MO, which is the distance from there to there, which is 14 centimeters. And what we want to look for is ON, which is this side, ON. That is what we want to find. So with this information, we have the hypotenuse and we have the opposite. So we're going to use the opposite and the hypotenuse, meaning that we're going to use the function of sine. And we know that sine x is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. And we have got sine, the angle that is 42.6 degrees, is equal to the opposite, that's the side you are looking for, that is ON, and the hypotenuse is 14 centimeters. So to find ON, we are going to say 14 multiplied by sine 42.6. And if we round it off to 3 significant figures, we get our ON as 9.48 centimeters. This is the value of the angle of the side ON. So this is how you use the 3 functions to come up with the value of one side, or to also come up with an angle. And we are going to look at that in the other videos to come. So there you have it. This is how you make use of the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. Remember the abbreviations SOHCAHTOA. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you learned something. Please do not forget to click on the subscribe button so that you get more videos. See you in the next one.